Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Today I have with me Pierre Solomon. Pierre, thanks for coming, man.
What's up, bro? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm glad to have you, dude. So here's how I learned about you. Okay. I hate to say this, but you were the very first video I remember seeing of you is when you had a guy shooting a Smith & Wesson 500.
Yeah. Yes.
And I'm like, this guy's crazy. I got to find him and follow him. And you're like, this is why you only put one round in at a time, because this dude fired the 500. Boom!
Yeah, complete 180.
Oh man.
No, that was a complete shock to me because I was just running the line, just doing my job, and somebody was like recording, which I wasn't aware. So as soon as I seen it, all I'm doing is like, "Yo, guy, you're not gonna hurt yourself."
Right.
And then it turned out to be on video, and then went on. So that was pretty. That was a learning moment.
That was.
Yeah. It's like no matter how much you tell somebody about, hey, this is the most powerful handgun in the world.
Right. It'll blow your head clean off.
Yeah. You gotta get a good grip. It doesn't matter. It's just,
oh man.
Yeah. So that was pretty funny. Yeah. We were out in New Hampshire. We had a fruit shoot, so we were just shooting all kinds.
Fruit shoot.
Yeah. We were just shooting a bunch of different fruits, watermelons, and everything. I spent like $500 in fruits that day. I cleaned out the entire section. Fruits, vegetables. Oh man. Just about anything you can remember.
That is awesome.
I still have video on that stuff that I haven't put up yet. People shooting and stuff. And
yeah?
That's one of the things I'm bad about. Like, I'm hoarding a lot of pictures and videos, and I got I'm surprised I'm still alive because people are like...
Don't say that, man. Come on. We're a gun instructor. You can't be saying, I'm surprised I'm still alive.
No, because I thought somebody would break my legs, but you owe me pictures? So yeah.
Too funny. Anyway, so that's the first time I met you, and then about a year and a half ago, we ended up taking the NRA shotgun instructor class up in New Hampshire.
Yeah, that was
and I'm like,
cool.
Wait a second, that's you.
Yeah, and I know you too from somewhere. No, it was pretty cool because I'm like, I've never seen the musical instruments with firearms. So
yeah,
that was a pretty cool concept. I'm like, yo, this is dope. And then I saw you were safe. So the first thing that I do when I'm looking at people, I'm noticing how safe they are and their finger off the trigger.
Oh yeah.
Do they know what they're doing?
Dude, I will tell you this. I love it. There's two things I love. There's more than that, but there are a lot of anti-gun wackos that notice. They think I'm ridiculous and pulled over on the side of the road and just making gungrams and playing the trumpet and shooting into the woods.
Yeah.
Which
is crazy.
Right, because it's what I do on the way to work. But
shots.
Right. But I film it at a gun range. I wear ears. It's usually only me at the range. But I love it when people are like, dude, that dude's got his finger off the trigger when he's not playing. When he's doing more trumpet playing than shooting, he's got his finger off the trigger. I'm like, yeah, duh. That's what we work hard for. Anyway, so we are with Pierre Solomon. Pierre Solomon has his own, your own instruction?
Yeah.
Instruction? Now, do you sell stuff too?
Yeah, I do, yeah. So I own a firearm training company, so I'm an NRA Training Counselor. So that allows me to train both students and people who are interested in becoming instructors. We work with civilians, we work with security companies, law enforcement, even military folks as well. And we basically can work with anybody. Whether you've never shot before or you're very experienced, then we're able to work with a lot of people because I'm a training counselor.
Cool. The training counselors, how many things can they, what do they officially have to do? I know they take the NRA instructors through the NRA method and everything.
Yeah. So are you talking about becoming an instructor or teaching?
No. What is? Do you have to be certified to teach everything to be a training counselor?
So you're just like a NRA instructor. You're only certified to teach in the disciplines that you're certified in.
Gotcha.
So if I'm a home firearm safety instructor, and then I become an NRA training counselor, then I can only instruct
teach people
for home firearm safety. So they still have to go and take all the other classes and stuff because Just because you know how to teach home firearm safety doesn't mean you're qualified for personal protection outside the home.
Right.
You know, that's a very advanced course. You're teaching people how to draw from the holster and things like that. So it's not your basic class that you're learning and taking. It's been good because like I learned so much through the NRA, and I know a lot of people like because the NRA is political and they kind of have to be.
Right.
And because of that, they drive a lot of people away. And so a lot of times people are like, oh, why are you working with the NRA and stuff like that? And I'm like, they really have a good program, and you have to be objective. And sometimes it's hard for people to be objective when there's a lot of like emotional things tied with the politics.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's very hard. And then even sometimes I struggle with it too. But I'm like, the goal and the objective is to get people educated and trained and get them licensed so that they're safe and responsible. And that is the ultimate way to beat anti-gunners. With anti-gunners, they want people to be ignorant. They want to prey on the ignorant. They want to prey on the people that are untrained, and they spread all these lies and fears about firearms.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And the way to beat them is to train someone. So now when someone is educated, they're like, oh, that's not an assault rifle. That's a semi-automatic rifle. Oh, that's not the way that works. It doesn't shoot a million.
Right. It's not 30 rounds per second.
Yeah, and that's how you beat them, through education and training and
that's awesome.
And building a community. So for me, that's what I focus on. And then sometimes you gotta put that personal feeling aside and get the job done.
Yeah.
And that's something I learned through the military too. Like obviously like the U.S. history is very conflicting and things like that. And you gotta put the mission first. So you gotta put aside whatever feelings you have.
Yep.
And get the job done. So that's one of the things I learned through the military.
That's
and
cool.
then finding myself applying that in the civilian world and saying, hey,
applying it to everything else.
I gotta get the mission done, take my feelings out of it.
Right.
And do what you gotta do. So it's been a very interesting journey.
Cool, man. How did you start shooting? How did you get into it? Did you grow up hunting and shooting? Was it?
Nah, man. I was born in Haiti. Came here when I was 5.
Gotcha.
Didn't speak English.
Wow.
So yeah, I actually never shot any firearms until I joined the army. So I was 18 years old. Yeah. The most experience I had with guns was playing Call of Duty. So that's when the PS3 first came out. I was a Call of Duty head. I
PS3. Boy, you're dating yourself. I have a PS1.
Oh man, dude, that's worth a lot of money now. Hold on to it.
Yeah, I don't have it anymore.
Oh, you don't have a teardrop.
Yeah, I know. It's all right.
Hold on to everything you have now, and in 50 years, it'll be worth a lot of money.
Totally. Buy 2, put one in up, leave it in the box.
Yeah, put in like some rental storage and Pokemon cards going for like $20,000. I'm like, are you kidding me? I threw these things around like and then here they are years later, worth a ton of money.
Right. All right. So you're 18.
Yeah.
Joined the military.
Yeah. So I initially joined the military for college money. So I didn't have the best grades in high school. I wasn't the exact scholar. I actually found high school very boring. I was a lot smarter than the material. Yeah. So I was very discouraged to do the work. So it would really grind my gears when I see like smart people and they do all the work. They're like, oh, I'm doing all the work, I'm getting straight in. I'm like, this is stupid. We're like learning at like a middle school grade. So like I was totally just not interested in education. So as a result, I didn't get any scholarships or anything like that. Man. So I joined the army to go for college money, and I ended up falling in love with the culture of the military. Falling in love with the discipline, learning about firearms and things like that. Yeah. And I never expected that. It was just a means to an end. And then that's when that's when I started to change myself internally. Yeah. And you're shooting guns and stuff like that, and that was really cool. And I've done some stuff in the army that most people will never do in their life, and that's really cool.
Sure.
So I'm hoping to bring that side, like all the cool training that we do, and bring it in the civilian world. So yeah, the first time I ever held a gun was third day of boot camp. They gave me an M16, and I'm like, holy crap, this thing is huge. I'm like, yeah, you're married to that thing now, right? Wow. Sleeping with it, taking it everywhere you go. So that was that was my first time shooting. I never went hunting. I never went to gun range and stuff like that. Yeah. And I guess I was interested through like video games. Sure. But there was never I never saw an opportunity. So obviously I could have looked around, I could have Googled and things like that. Yeah. But the thought of shooting in a safe manner never crossed my mind.
Wow, that's interesting.
So I didn't even know ranges existed and things like that and whatnot. And I was just totally oblivious to it until I got to the military, and I'm like, holy crap, there are these places where you can go shoot guns and have a good time and stuff like that. And that's why me too, because now I look back, now I'm 28 years old, and, you know, I'm looking at all the high school kids, you know, and they have no idea that they can go, and there's a gun range in Dorchester that you can go and train.
Go shoot,
yeah, they go shoot at. So it's like, so how do we get all these groups of people that are interested into firearms, and how do we get them to legally train and use them safe and break that stereotype, you know,
right. Oh my gosh,
black people with firearms and things like that. So that's what also motivates me, is that, you know, you're coming from that community and you're understanding, you know, your path and how you got to where you're at.
Cool. How long were you in the military?
I've been in for 9 years. I got what, 2.5 years left, and then I'll be hanging my cap.
That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, no, the military has been a very interesting experience. It's like everything else; it has ups and downs and stuff.
Sure.
You know, I don't regret joining. I think it's the best decision I made in my life. You know, I always ask myself, if I didn't join the military, where would I be at?
What would you be doing now?
Yeah. So and that's a very scary thought, because I'm I have a strong foundation of who I am and what I want to do in the world.
Right.
And I can only imagine, like, who would I be if I wasn't me? Right? So,
exactly.
So it's very interesting when I think about these things, and, you know, God knows where I would end up. So
No kidding.
so that was pretty cool.
So you're in the reserve now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You're in the reserve.
I'm in reserve.
How long was your first stint in the military? 3 years, 4 years?
So I did a 6-year contract, so 6 on, 2 years IRR, which is just like a reserve component, just in case, like, you know, shit happens.
Right.
Yeah, you know, like if like another 9/11 happens, then they have a pool of people that can draw in and come back in and fight. So so, you know, reserve allowed me to go to school and have a life. So it's 1 weekend a month, and then you go do a month during the summer. I mean, you can volunteer for additional work and stuff like that, but those are the bare minimum requirements. 1 weekend a month during the summer.
That's not too bad.
And then you can, you know, have a normal life. You can go to school, you can go to work, have a family, and things like that. I mean, you always have the chance of, you know, being called to active duty, getting deployed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it allows people to have like a dual citizenship. You know, you can be in the military and have a regular civilian life.
Gotcha. Cool, man. Yeah. That is pretty cool. God bless you.
Yeah, no.
What did you do when you got out?
So I'm still in. So I renewed my contract, right? So my 6 years were up.
Yeah.
And then I basically asked myself, you know, am I at where I want to be in the world? So no, I'm not where I want to be. So I'm going to continue to be in the military until I feel like I'm in a position that you know, I don't necessarily need to do a bunch of different things.
Right.
So I do hazmat in the military. So anything dealing with chemical, biological, radiological, and warfare. So
that's pretty cool.
Hazmat. Yeah, it's not as cool as it sounds. It's a very important job. You know, you go through World War I and World War II, you see the reasons why we need a hazmat guy.
Yeah.
You know, so there's definitely a need for it. But hopefully we never have to go through that again. So, so hopefully our leaders can, you know, work it out. Yeah, no one is gonna win World War III, so everybody loses on that.
Right.
You know, so
So that would be nuts.
Yeah, it's not good.
Cool, man. So when did you start your business and start racking up the NRA classes and the?
I kind of stumbled upon it. So you learn a lot of things in the military, and one thing I realized, you know, later on, I took all this knowledge, skills, and attitude for granted. Right. So I learned how to shoot a rifle. You know, I threw grenades. I did all this and that. And for me, it was the norm. So it took me a long time to realize that the knowledge that I had in training is not the norm for people. So I just started taking a couple of friends to the range. So, you know, they'd go to the range, and after like the 4th time, I'm like, all right, man, ammo's not free, right? You gotta give me like $20, you know? You gotta pay me a little bit, you know?
I used to take, when I got into it, after I didn't start shooting until I was 30 or so, and I'd take my neighborhood buddies out shooting, and I'm like, all right, so I'm going to teach you how to be safe, because I don't want you to shoot me, okay?
Yeah.
You pay for some ammo, and we'll be cool, and it'll be fine. And that's how I started becoming an instructor. So so you're taking people out, you're like, this is gets a little costly.
So then you gotta pay a little bit, and then their friends saw pictures and videos.
Oh, so they want to go, right?
They want to go. So I'm like, okay, well, they can pay for the ammo, but they can pay me like $20, you know? So I pay a little service.
Something for your time.
You know, a little bit for my time, and it just continued to happen and snowball. People wanted to shoot and stuff. And then I'm like, hey, are they willing to pay $30? So at first I'm charging 20.
Might pay 30.
Yeah, so right. Start paying $30, $40. And then I got as high up to $50, and I'm like, okay, maybe I can, you know,
I can turn this into a business somehow.
I can do something with it. So then it started like a side hustle, you know.
Yeah.
Grew up in Boston, you know, you're always hustling, you know.
Oh my God,
you gotta make your money somehow. So yeah, it just became a little side hustle. And then I don't know when it hit me, but it hit me that, hey, I could really monetize this and start advertising. So it was more like a friendship type of thing. And then I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and advertise and see who's interested.
Right.
To shooting and stuff like that. So then students started asking me, hey, can I get a certificate, you know, for a class and stuff? I'm like, nah, it was just range time. So then I started looking into, you know, how do I get people, you know, qualified to apply for their license to carry and stuff. And that's when I started researching, you know, how to become an instructor and things like that. And even then, I was oblivious to the NRA, so I wasn't familiar with it. Yeah. So, so I never heard of the NRA until I started. I mean, you always saw the logos and things, but you were never aware, and you never understood what it was for. When I started researching and Googling, I took my first class at Hammer Firearms. Shout out to Hammer Firearms up in New Hampshire, and that was my first introduction to you know, the official NRA course and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I took you know, I obviously took a safety class to get my gun license, but it wasn't very impactful. Like I feel like the classes I teach now, they're very impactful. They make people socially aware and politically aware of their rights and things like that. So when I took the class, I already knew a lot of the information, and plus my class was a non-shooting course as well. So like it wasn't what I thought it would be, because I'm like, oh yeah, you know, you can bring people and stuff, and then I didn't even get to shoot. So I was like, oh, what the hell is this? But I got the piece of paper that I needed to apply
to get a license, right?
So, you know, hey, the objective was met, mission accomplished.
Right. And that's I spend most of my time teaching the home firearm safety class. You know, I've got a couple ranges that I belong to, but I can't use them consistently. You know, one's a half hour away from where I usually do classes, and the other one is more of a sportsman's club, in that they've got a bar, they've got birthday parties and stuff that they do. So I'm like, you know what? I tell everyone I teach rifles and shotguns and handguns, oh my, and get them up and going, teach them to be safe. Then, you know, think about what you want to buy, work your way backwards from this is what I want a gun for, work your way backwards, and then after you get that, good, then we'll take your gun out and go shooting. Because if we sit here and do, you know, if we take down a Glock and you end up getting something else that doesn't, yes, you know how to take down a Glock, you do it once, it's 3 months before you get your license and make your purchase. Okay, how do I do this again? Let's not worry about that, man. Let's do that with your gun when you get one something. So
no, it's definitely a challenge for like independent instructors to find places to go and range and shoot. And I think that's one of the biggest problems in Massachusetts and in the Northeast, is that there is no like
public ranges.
There's no gun community. So we have all these ranges, right? So I go and I Google all these ranges and I try to work with them. We have, you know, dozens and dozens of ranges, but where is that power? Where are these people? Where is the representation of these guns? So we got Goal out here, you know, struggling, working hard with themselves in Comp 2A.
Yeah.
They're working hard. But where are all these other ranges? What are they doing for the community in New England? And where's the representation? So I think that's one of the problems why all this anti-gun legislation is going by, because there's no council. There's no, you know, hey, this is the council of all the ranges. Here's our, you know, here's all the presidents. What are we going to do about this anti-gun, you know, issue here in Mass?
These
and then nobody is doing that. Everybody's private.
That's a really good point.
And then, you know, they're leaving independent instructors to drown out on their own. So it's like, okay, and so you have anti-gun state, and you have people that want to learn about firearms. What's the best way to combat that? Train them, get them educated, get them into, you know, if you take someone to the range, they're more likely to go and sign up for your range, because that's what they're familiar with. That's the first time they shot, they took pictures, and, you know, they're more inclined to go there. But you'll see a lot of times in the leadership in the gun community here in Mass is that they're non-existent and they're not helpful. A lot of them are not helpful. They tell you, no, screw off.
Yeah,
you know?
I went to one of the places that is near me. They don't let you bring guests in.
So
how are you supposed to get more people for the club? How are we supposed to get more shooters if you don't let people bring in people that are new. How do you expect to grow that?
And it's like, how do you expect to grow the two-way overall? So grow your own individual club, but how do you expect to grow and protect the Second Amendment if you're not introducing
new people to it? And look, let's face it, we all know that there's an attrition rate. There's people that aren't renewing their memberships, and I hate to say that the gun community is the old white guy community. As an old white guy, I hate saying that, but the really old white guys, they're the ones that don't want to they don't want to update their stuff. They don't want to bring in new people necessarily. They don't want to bring in guests. And if you can't bring in guests and you can't bring in new people, you're not going to get new people interested in it, and it's going to die.
And then they're shocked when Maura Healey goes and is able to ban ARs overnight, and there's no repercussions. And they're like, oh, how did this happen? Oh, this is infringement on our rights.
It's absolutely, and I'm sure you've seen it and said it too. It's the whole, okay, well, they're coming for ARs. They're not coming for handguns, and I'm a trap shooter. They're not coming for trap guns. Okay, they came for semi-auto handguns. Well, I like shooting revolvers. Okay, well, they're going to come for revolvers. Well, I only shoot, a double-barrel break action. Okay. Let's see. If we go right down the list, they've gone for the, they've gone for the rifles. They are going to come for your musket. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And it's just really frustrating because I've literally had leadership, the guy in charge, the guy in command say, no, I do not want to share my resources with new people. Literally coming straight to my face. And he's like, this is just for us, and we're going to leave it at that.
Okay. Thanks, man.
And then I was just like, and I wasn't even mad for me trying to grow my business. I was just mad at the limited opportunity for everybody else. And I'm like, and this is exactly what's wrong with America. This is exactly what's wrong with the gun community here. Mm-hmm. And don't be surprised when you get a freaking noise complaint, because the anti-gunners have been building rallies around your range, and now they've finally mustered enough
people to say, hey, listen, it's too noisy here.
Yeah, but you could have been engaging these people and say, hey, actually in class we talk about firearm safety, how to be safe and things like that, and you can introduce them to a safe manner. You watch the news, and these anti-gunners, they act as if we're in classes telling people, oh yeah, this is how you shoot up the place. Yeah, just like that, And no, all we do is talk about safety, how not to hurt yourself, how to be responsible. Here are all the laws and things like that. And we're literally making people as safe as possible and law-abiding citizens. Right. But the perception that the media
what gives us is
we're like training, terrorists to
it's
do
ridiculous.
things.
It's ridiculous. I saw something this past week. So when we're filming this, there was a school shooting last week or 2 weeks ago. Last week. Yeah, just a week ago. Yeah. Anyway, so we're coming off the heels of that, and there was I saw somebody post something that I want to say the woman was from North Carolina, and she's like, hey, I'm a gun owner, I've got a rifle, I've got a shotgun, I used to have a handgun carry permit, but the NRA is a terrorist organization. There's no reason that someone should have an AR-15. There's no reason for this. If you have the hero mentality, I think is what she called it. She's like, that's just wrong and a fallacy, and it's just a bunch of bull. You're like, And then she topped everything off by saying, I'm a member of Mom's Demand and the Brady campaign and every town. And you're like,
that's the words when they post to be one of you. You're like, no.
And you just kind of shake your head. You're like, man. Like, I saw something this morning. Somebody posted. They called it the pro-gun cannibals. I'm like, oh, I love that, because all we're doing is eating ourselves with this stuff. Yeah. I'm a pro-gun, but I don't think someone should have this. There was, I don't know if you saw the video of that guy who sawed his AR.
Yeah.
When I saw this, I'm like,
you just great SBR.
Right, you just made a short-barreled rifle. Isn't that a $250,000 fine?
No, like the logic behind it is so bizarre. It's crazy. So it's like, so were you planning on shooting anybody? So if not, then
what's the issue?
Yeah, what's the problem? Yeah.
What is the problem?
People are crazy. It's funny seeing all these I think they're trying to like insert themselves in groups. You even see that in Facebook groups where like people they're in these gun groups, but they're anti-gun and they're collecting information. It's like covert operatives, you know.
Right.
they're collecting information and things, and they're trying to. Oh, that's so cute. Look at that. That's adorable.
Got kids crossing the street.
Like a freaking wagon full of toys. That is pretty badass.
That's cool.
But yeah, no, it's very interesting to see how the two-way was growing. It's funny because like when I talk to old timers, like, hey, we had guns in school. I went to the basement of my high school and
did some rifle shooting.
Up. Yeah, and they were like mass shootings were non-existent, right? So it was like, how come kids, people saying, oh, guns are bad and stuff like that, but how come we had a whole generation that grew up and they were shooting in schools, there are programs and things like that.
Yeah, not an issue, not a problem.
And then now it's a recent phenomenon where people are like, going out and giving up on life. And I actually did a video on this a couple days ago where I was like, basically our society is broken. So we're the result of, like America's a dog-eat-dog world where nobody cares for each other. And like people like, oh, mental health, we got to get these checks, okay. But every time we try to pass the healthcare bill, America's like, no, everybody should pay for themselves. Take care of your own problems. So I'm like, so which one is it? Do you want to help people?
Right.
Do you want to invest in your own community and your own citizens? Or do you want to leave people out to drown? And this is the result of what happens.
This is what happens
when people leave out to drown. If you have a mental health problem and you don't have insurance and you want to go get help, where can you go?
Nowhere.
So,
where do you go? Go to the local bar.
yeah. Because alcohol solves all your problems.
Right.
So there's this duality in like America where we talk about wanting to help people and care, and then when it comes down to voting and creating legislation to actually help and invest in our communities, people don't want it.
People don't want to do it. Yeah.
And I find it bizarre how people don't want to invest in the education and the health and the well-being of their own citizens, their neighbors, their freaking everybody, their friends, their family, their coworkers. And it's just really weird to me how we refuse to invest into ourselves.
Right.
But God forbid we say, hey, we're gonna build the next bomb and it costs $50 billion. We're gonna go, America, bacon, yeah.
Right.
You say we're gonna spend half of that on education reform. No, They're like, I don't have kids. I don't want to go and pay for other people's education and stuff. I don't have no kids. I'm like, well, this is the result of our society.
This is what happens.
And it's like we're willing to invest in anything and everything but our own people.
Right. And that's pretty messed up.
And I think the basics is, education, giving people a skill set so that they can go earn an income. So you hate welfare, you hate people on welfare. Well, I'd rather put that money into a training program where someone can learn to be an electrician and then they can go out and generate money.
Right.
So that guy, so that lazy guy who could have gotten a free program to become an electrician and learn a skill and go earn money, now that same lazy guy is at home collecting welfare.
I am reading a book right now. It's by this woman. She's a friend. Her name is Laura Carno, and the book is called Government Ruins Nearly Everything. And one of the paragraphs she has in the book is, I don't know any person that says, I can't wait to grow up, lay on the couch and wait for my welfare check. She's like, Americans want to get up and go out and do stuff and produce things and make things, Nobody wants to be that way, which is pretty wild.
But yeah, so there's this interesting duality within our culture. So many infighting and stuff, and it's like, when are we gonna learn how much is, when is enough? So, but then you're getting into politics and you're good friends with someone, and then you find out they're like a Republican or Democrat, and then you're like,
I don't know if we can talk anymore.
I've literally had that feeling where I'm like good friends with someone, and you read a Facebook post, and I'm just like, no.
Why would you do this?
I held you in such a high regard, but why? But why? And I'm like, the unfollow button is real.
Oh man,
last year I was caping. I was like, hey, we got to be able to talk with people that have different ideas and stuff like that. We got to be open to that, because I talked to a lot of anti-gunners and stuff like that. And then this year I'm not having any of it. I'm just unfollowing. Like I through last year I learned it eats your soul away. It
really does.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So now I'm just like, I don't care if you have a difference of opinion, but if you are far, on either side, I'm just like, okay, all right, I'm done with you.
Yeah, I learned this a while ago. Once the name calling starts, I'm out.
Yeah.
Once you call me an idiot, okay, thanks.
See you later. So it's so funny because like you'll unfollow someone and then like 3 months later you find out that I'm friends with this guy because like he pops up somewhere else on Facebook and you click on it,
Right.
I'm like, oh yeah, I know you.
Right. That's funny.
No, it's pretty funny. No, it's funny because I have a lot of people that I agree with the Second Amendment, the 2A. That's the only thing we agree on.
Right.
So it's like if it's not for the 2A, we wouldn't be friends. We wouldn't be discussing. And then so it's like it was very interesting how like the 2A is the only little thing that's holding me to a lot of people.
And it's I've got some friends that are that way too. I've got some friends that are very liberal about stuff, but they're they want to have a gun, they want to go shooting, they want to be able to protect themselves, which is pretty cool.
But yeah, so it was pretty funny. I wish we could take the guns out of the politics. That's what I wish, and that's one of our main goals here at SFT. Because one of the things I hate about Republicans and pro-right people and stuff, they use the term libtard.
Oh,
and
right.
all
It's
these things.
certainly condescending.
But they're defining what a gun owner is when you do that. Oh, these fucking libtards want to take our guns away. No, anti-gunners want to take your gun away.
Right.
I know a lot of people that are liberal and that are pro-gun. So when you say, oh, a libtard is
right,
this and that,
it's
totally. And I identified as a liberal for a long time. For most of my life, I was a liberal until I turned into a independent. So you have this thing where we're allowing politics to decide who's interested in the Second Amendment and who it represents, and when we shouldn't be doing that. We're policing our own borders and keeping people out. That's why you have these organizations like NAAGA. I'm not sure if you're aware, NAAGA, National African American Gun Association.
Yeah,
because they're
pretty new.
Yeah, they're pretty new, and they feel like the NRA doesn't represent them. So imagine if all these people of color who are pro Second Amendment decided to not vote for politicians that were anti-gun. Imagine the difference that would make.
Yeah, no kidding.
But the 2A is so into politics. I had a woman who was pro-gun, and she was in my class, and she took a couple of classes, and I became really good friends with her. And then somehow we ended up on talking about Trump, because Trump is always in the media. And she's like, yeah, that's why I voted for Hillary. I'm like, how'd you vote for Hillary?
Right.
And then she's like, well, it was basically a choice between my gun rights and my reproductive rights, and I had to choose that.
Okay.
So I chose that my right to own my own body was more important than the right to own a firearm.
Okay.
And that was something that was game changing for me, because I never even thought of that. As a male, we never have to make a choice about hey, am I able to have control over my own body, or do I want to shoot? And that's when I realized that there's a lot of hard choices that people have to make, and the 2A got so into politics where if you pick one side and you identify only one side of firearms, then you block out a whole
bunch of other people.
So one of the things I want to do is take the politics out of the 2A and let's focus it on the self-defense. Let's focus it on the people that are getting killed, murdered, raped, robbed. And if we could get the politics out of that, then we can reach a lot of different people. But
that's cool.
That politician doesn't exist out there.
One of my friends like to say, we always want the best man to win, but he never runs.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's funny because in high school I wanted to be a politician. That was one of my
goals.
Yeah, it was very interesting, and then I gave up on people, and now I hate people. So it's like, I can't stand it.
I can understand that.
Yeah. No, I hate bureaucracy, and that's one thing I learned about the military is that it's full of bureaucracy.
It's full of that, yeah.
And I can't do it. I want to get the job done. I see the smartest and best way to do it. Why can't we go out there? Well, we got to do this and that. I'm not interested in that.
Right.
So that's why I love private work, because you own your own business. So if you see the best way to do something,
you do it.
You just fucking do it. You don't have to go and clear the channels, request permission, and have somebody who doesn't have in-field experience and then tell you, hey, this is the way you should do it. No, we're actually out here in the field and we're telling you this is the better way to do it. No, this looks good on paper. And I was like, okay, that's where you just throw your papers. You know that meme that says, fuck it, it's Friday, you just throw it up. Done. That's what I did with bureaucracy. I'm like, okay, bye-bye government work. We're going into the private sector and getting the stuff done.
Well, hey, listen, we should talk about the private sector stuff another time when we get together. And talk about the stuff that you're doing as an instructor and as a training counselor and as a guy who's making his mark on the world.
Yeah, man.
Right, just trying
to be the change.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, listen, we are almost where we need to be, and we have with us Solomon Pierre today of a plug away of SPT. No, SFT.
Solomon Firearms Training. So Pierre from Solomon Firearms Training. We do instructor courses, student courses, pepper spray courses, and self-defense. So if you need anything, give us a holler. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Solomon Firearms Training. You can find us there.
Awesome, brother. Thanks so much, man.
Thanks a lot, man.
This is my pleasure.
All
right. Don't forget, check all the Riding Shotgun, all that YouTube and all that stuff. We'll talk to you guys later, man. Thanks a lot.
All right, guys. See ya.